Hello, this is Techman88, and I've got probably the easiest gold farm that you can build in 1.13. It uses this mechanic with the turtle eggs. They'll attract the zombie pigman, and it uses a pretty small spawn platform over here. So the pigmen don't have to walk very far at all before they can just fall down this drop chute. And just a simple item collection here. You can definitely change this up a little bit, or a whole lot. But the main thing is that you have the small farm up over here, like on the top of the nether ceiling, underneath the top. Then way up there, you can't see it, but there's a very high AFK height. I've got a player from Carpet Mod just sitting up there. So I think this idea is actually pretty obvious, but I haven't seen anybody make a farm like this before. They usually put it on top of the nether ceiling, and then have the AFK height even higher. But the really nice thing about this is that you don't have to build any platforms. Placing these big platforms up on top of the nether is quite painful. But this sort of farm, you can probably build it like on day 1 or day 2. That's how easy it is. All you have to do is clear out a couple layers and then build some drop chutes and a collection system. And that's it. So another really nice thing about building it this low is that you get the higher spawn rates, because your top block height is actually 40% lower than if you built this on top of the nether ceiling, way up there. So yeah, you get 40% more spawns per spawn space. So yeah, not only do you not have to build the platforms, you actually get more out of each one. All you have to do is dig it out. Maybe you repair your pick a couple times, and yeah, that's it. The rates on this farm are about 80 gold blocks per hour, which it's decent. It's not nearly as good as an iron farm, but as I was saying, this is an early farm. So to start building this farm, you need to find an area without a lot of all spawnable spaces, kind of like what I was doing with my wither skeleton farm. So you just need to just check up here if there's many spawnable spaces. There's a couple over here, and that's not really a big deal. So this particular farm, I have the AFK height at 214 up on top of the nether, and that's dependent on how many layers you use. So I used 4 layers, and I'll go in there. And the top layer, it's just below the bottom layer of the bedrock on the nether ceiling, and that's at layer 120. The layer below that is 117, below that is 114, and below that is 111. And then down here, the actual killing platform, this is 128 blocks above the AFK platform, so that's at Y level 88, or 86, sorry. Yeah, 86, not 88. So just in case you're wondering how to get on top of the nether ceiling, I know this has been covered a million times, but I'll just show it for this one, because it's intended as such an early game farm. So you wanna look up and make sure there's a block at Y100, 127 that you can see. Then you put a rail on it. Then what you do, and by the way, I'm in survival mode. So you go into this, then you press left shift to get out of the minecart, then you jump, and then you put a minecart on that, then you right click to get into the minecart. And I took a lot of damage doing that because I wasn't really concentrating, but that's how you get up there. And when you do this, you want to make sure you have some obsidian and a flint and steel, and then just build one of these thingies. I might even kill myself trying to build this. So yeah, just like that, then you can light it and get back down and into the overworld. If you don't do this, you're going to have to kill yourself, and that's not good. You'll get your items up there. So yeah, that's how you get back on top of the overworld. So the drop chutes are very simple. It just looks like this. Just these trapdoors, so the zombie pigmen can't get to the eggs. And then another set of trapdoors here so that they can walk off more easily. And this is 4, so 5 and 6 wide. Then the dimensions of this room. I did do some work into tweaking this, so it's Like from this glass, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in that direction. Then again, from the glass, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I just cut out some of the corners here. You can maybe cut out more. It doesn't matter too much. Yeah, that's basically all there is to building this. Doesn't take long at all to build. And then down here, I just have them falling onto glass, and then I have a basic item pusher set up just to push them all down this little hole so that I would be able to build like a collection system down here. But in this case, I've just got a little item counter here using some command blocks. And if you're curious, it just checks if there's 64 items in the first slot. The first slot is always going to start with gold. And then when that gets up to, so when it gets up to 64, it's going to add 8 to that, add 8 to this count over here. And then it's going to reset that hopper so that the first slot has 56 items. So I'm counting 8 at a time, so that's 64 minus 8. And then the second slot is just rotten flesh because I just want to get rid of it. And then the rest of it is just cobblestone to just take up the rest of the space so I don't collect other items. But that's a pretty nice, easy way to make an item counter that can respond decently fast. Now I'm in my survival world. I just wanted to show you what I actually built from this. And I only built it 2 high, and I built the drop chutes quite a bit differently. I just have one side, and I built this early, so I didn't really have the resources to do it correctly. But yeah, just one side, and then only 2 layers, and they're a bit wider. So that's an option. You can definitely adjust it, but it's not going to be as good rates as I had. And then down here, I have the drop chute destination. And what I have over here on this side, this is just 2 sorters just to try and sort out the rotten flesh. So they're going to drop directly on here, and the rotten flesh is going to get pulled out by these 2 things here just to handle the rates of this. And then, over here, there's back here, there's another sorter. And this just sorts out even more rotten flesh that didn't get caught by the first 2. That's not a 100% reliable way, but it's pretty good. And then over here, the gold nuggets just come into here, and they get dropped down this drop chute into a big, huge crafting system using droppers, which I don't think I can really recommend. So I'll go down there. Yeah, so they just filter into this this crafting system, and it's triggered from the bottom, and you look closely, these observers point up. So they read off of the droppers here, and then they can point up into the next set of droppers. That's a pretty compact way to get all this in here, because you need the hoppers behind it, which, by the way, are kind of laggy. And so you don't have to use too many hoppers. Then down here, I have the system to craft the items. Okay, so let me try this out. I think I've got 120 droppers up there. So what I should be able to do is just turn this on, and then all the items land on this gold pressure plate. And I can stand right on there, and then just craft away. So I'm using an AutoHotkey script to try and craft this faster, but like even with all those droppers, this really is not going to be that efficient. I'm not sure. I don't think all of them are working actually right now. But I think I calculated it so that you could craft 1 of these per second. But I think I've already done a lot of crafting system and haven't run the farm anymore after that. I built an iron farm, so I don't really need this anymore. And this isn't really a complicated system or anything. I can't even get back there. So the gold pressure plate is, there's a comparator that gets right off that. And that goes into the side of this comparator in subtract mode, and there's just a couple items here. So it detects whether there's a whole bunch of stacks on here and then can disable the triggering mechanism over here, which is just a simple clock. And that just triggers the powered rails over here. And those trigger the droppers all the way up. So in summary, I think this is the best way to build an early game gold farm for 1.13 and higher. And it's just because of these turtle eggs. The turtle eggs just make it so much easier to attract the zombie pigmen. They'll just walk right in there. They don't need line of sight, any of that kind of thing. And of course, just having the lower spawn platforms increases the spawn rates by about 40%, compared to if you had it on top of another ceiling about the same height and had a drop chute like this. So I will have some basic build info in the description, and I'll also try and give a world download. I'm not totally sure I'll do that, but I don't think you really need one for this kind of thing. It's just pretty simple.